Hey, thanks for stopping by. Robert Kofid with Computer Creations, and today we're going to talk tumblers. Everything about tumblers. One of the things that I wanted to cover today was just the logistics of engraving tumblers as a whole. I've had a number of you reach out to me requesting to do a video on kind of the process for tumblers. One of the things that I see on the forums a lot is you estimate your time that you're engraving the tumbler, and they're providing a price based on that amount of engraving time. And what I will tell you is there is a lot more to it when it comes to the total package, meaning that the amount of time that you're going to take when you start to engrave tumblers. The engraved time, once you get it on the machine, is only a fraction of the total time that you're going to take to be able to order, receive, unpack, engrave, repack, and deliver those tumblers to your customer. And all of that time needs to be included in your estimate when you provide prices for your customers. So today I'm going to go ahead and talk a little bit about my process, how it works. I've had a number of you ask, can we get some information on running two lasers at the same time in LightBurn when I'm doing tumblers? When I get an order like this is a 192 tumbler order, and I will run two machines, two rotaries at the same time, doing the same graphic on the tumblers that I'm putting in those machines. And the benefit of doing that is you can reduce your production time by half because you're doing two at the same time. It's really a pretty efficient way to do it, and it works really good if you're starting to get larger tumbler orders. So today I'm going to kind of cover from start to finish on everything about tumblers. We're not going to get into a lot of LightBurn today as far as setup, that kind of stuff. I will show you some of that, but this is not going to be considered a LightBurn video. This is just going to be more of an overall view of kind of how I handle an order like this. So if this is something you're interested in, hang in there with me and let's get started. So one of the first things that I wanted to talk about when you're discussing with a client on a tumbler order, I do a lot of corporate orders. And so one of the things that you'll want to keep in mind is to educate your clients into the best, most efficient way that you can get your tumblers order. I use JDS a lot. I think they're a good company. And one of the things that they offer is reduced pricing when you order cases, case quantities. And so in this particular case, I've discussed with my client, hey, if you order in multiples of 24, because 24 tumblers in a case, I can provide them a better price, and they're all for that. So typically be honest with your clients, and if you're using a company like JDS or another company that gives you a case price, let them know that, hey, instead of ordering just 200 tumblers, let's order in multiples of 24, like in this particular case, 192 total tumblers in different colors, but each case is going to be 24. Number one, you get a better price. You can pass that savings on to your customer. They're always, appreciating you looking out for them in that respect. And a lot of times they just don't know any better. So don't be afraid to educate your customers. If you're starting to get some larger tumbler orders, especially from businesses where you're doing business to business or something like that, sit down and have a chat with them and let them know that, hey, when we order these tumblers, let's order them in quantities of 24 in whatever style and color you want them in. And that way, number one, it's easier for you to keep track of things, and it's going to be a better price for sure. So keep in mind doing that, and don't be afraid to let your customers know, hey, if we do this, we're going to get a better price. I'm going to pass that price savings on to you. And typically they really appreciate you looking out for them. The other thing I'm going to tell you is I see this a lot. I've had a lot of people ask questions about this, is how many do I order? And so in this particular case, it's a 192 tumbler order, but I'm not going to order 192 tumblers. And here's why. almost invariably something will happen along that order that maybe I had a power outage, or the rotary didn't, something happened there, or maybe I just flat messed one up because I wasn't paying attention. So the bottom line is you always want to order a few extra. Like on an order like this, I'm probably going to order 5 or 6 extra at a minimum, probably 1 in each color. And that way, if I've got a problem, I've even dropped them to where I've dented them and I can't, that's not acceptable, and now I've got to either reorder it for 1 tumbler. So the bottom line is, don't ever, order just the amount of tumblers that you need to engrave. You're always going to want to order extra. There's been times when for some reason I'm unpacking these and there's a blemish or there's something that's not acceptable, and I'm not going to be able to deliver that tumbler to that customer. I've got the extras to slip in there and do it. The other thing that I will tell you that you definitely want to do when the reason why you want to order a few extra, this is a great example. I got these in the other day, and you can see I've got a pretty damaged box right here. And so right off the bat, I opened this box up because I wanted to see if the tumbler was damaged. And so when I pull this out, you can see that the box is crushed. It's beyond repair. There's not really anything I'm going to be able to do with that. When I pull this 20-ounce handled tumbler out, it didn't damage the tumbler, so I'm okay there. So I don't need to worry about that. But because I've ordered extra tumblers, I can take one of those extra tumbler boxes and replace it for this damaged box, and I'm back in business. So again, there's a number of benefits to you ordering some extra tumblers in whatever it is, because you're going to have these things come up. Whether it's a defect in the tumbler, it's a problem with the box. The way shipping is today, you're going to run into this. That's just the way it is. Now, the good thing about dealing with JDS, if for some reason this tumbler was damaged, I could reach out to them and they would have one in the mail the next day. So I'm not worried about, if we've got damaged tumblers. But maybe I'm on a tight timeline and I can't wait. If you have extras, you don't have to worry about those kind of things. Just something to think about. Okay, we'll go ahead and start with LightBurn, and this is how I set mine up. So I've already got the design done. You notice that I'm currently on my 35-100. I have a ready status. I'm typically wireless. I use LightBurn bridges for both my 35-100 and my Thunderbolt Pro 22. I will tell you, if you want to go wireless, it's a great way to go. You just have to have very strong Wi-Fi to be able to do that. Otherwise, go Ethernet and you won't have any problems. So I'm connected to my 35-100 profile. I'm going to come up here to recent projects, and I'm going to order the holiday layout for that. And so I've got my rectangle here. I've got my graphic. If it's going to be where if you're holding it in your right hand, with the logo facing outward, you want it in the upper box. If your customer wants the logo facing outward when they're holding it in their left hand, you would use the lower box. And not going to go into too much far as tumbler template setup today. That's not what this is for. So at this point, I've got my fill layer done, 400 millimeters a second, 35% power, no air assist, 317. Again, this is on a Thunder Nova 35-100 watt. That's all good. Now, this is where a lot of people make their mistake when they want to incorporate a second machine. So I'm going to leave this just the way it is. It's all set up, ready to go. You also notice that I'm using user origin. Middle right is what I prefer. I've got a cut selected graphics, use selected origin, and that way no matter what I have on my desktop, I can go ahead and select what I want to go to the laser, and that's what it's going to be. So let's say that I wanted to add, incorporate my second laser. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to File, New Window. And that's going to start another instance of LightBurn. And the first thing I'm going to do is come down here and change to my Bolt Pro 22 wireless. And you notice that it's standing ready now, so I know I'm connected to my Bolt Pro 22. I'm going to come up here, go to recent projects, and I label it such so I know which design is in which machine because the settings are going to be different. I'm going to open that up. And you see that currently my speed is quite a bit faster on the Bolt Pro 22 than it is on the Nova 35100. Same exact setup. One big difference is if I look at my rotary setup, I'm going to be using the Chuck rotary or the PiBurn Grip 2 on the Thunderbolt 22. I've got this all set up ready to go. Now, if I want to switch between one version of one machine and the other, all I'm going to do is come down here and hover, and you can see that I've got this one here for my 35100, this one here for my Bolt Pro 22. And so at this particular time, I can go ahead and realistically, I'm only going to have to send this design to the laser once, and then I won't have to come back to LightBurn. But that's how easy it is to go ahead and set things up. So just to check to make sure our rotaries are good, the 35100 first. We'll jump in here. You can see that steps 36,000. And this is my roller rotary. This is a brand new PiBurn V5. And so very high steps per rotation, got a lot of torque. 2.5 on the roller diameter. Here's my object diameter for my tumbler. That all looks good. Let's go ahead and look at the Bolt Pro 22. We're going to jump up here and make sure this is all good. So this, I'm using the Chuck rotary, which is the new Grip 2, and it's got a 30,000 steps per rotation. My object diameter is 3.47. And you can see that it's communicating with that rotary as well. And so realistically, all I have to do once I get things set up in LightBurn is go ahead and dump them to each one of those machines. And I really shouldn't have to come back to LightBurn because I can just keep rerunning the same file on the controller of the machine, and there's really no reason to come back to LightBurn. So there's not a lot to do in LightBurn today. And so once we get it to those controllers, I'm going to show you how to set up your workspace. I'm going to show you a little tool that I use to mark these handle tumblers to make sure that you get them just exactly the way you need them. And we'll go forward with this project. So let's show you the setup that I've got for this order. I've got my navy blue tumblers on one side. I've got 6 of them unboxed. I'm getting ready to mark them. I've taken the lids off. I've put in all the covers stacked up. I've got my orange ones on the other side. So the idea here is that I'm going to do all my navy blue tumblers in the Bolt Pro 22. I'm going to do all of my orange ones in the Nova 35. And away we go. A couple other tools I'm going to need are some magic erasers. I love these Kirkland microfiber towels that you can get at Costco. You can get a big pack of them for 20 bucks. They work great for tumblers. That's definitely a must. I got to have a pencil. And the 2 cleaning agents I use is typically LA Awesome from the dollar store, or Dawn Power Wash is a great choice. The other thing that I'm going to use for these particular tumblers, because they're navy blue, and a lot of you know there's kind of a blue hue that sticks around, I use this Endura blue. It works great. It's hard on your hands, so be careful. But it does a fantastic job on the navy tumblers. The other thing that we're going to need is this little jig here that I made, and all it is it's a perimeter. So I can put this jig over here, and you can see that I've got my degrees. So all I'm doing is marking the exact opposite of the middle of where this handle is. And so I put this on, I put a pencil mark right here, and then when I'm putting this tumbler into the rotary, I'm going to take that red light and line it up with that pencil mark. and I know that when it's time to engrave it, it's going to go right exactly where it needs to go. So those are the tools that I'm using today, and we're going to make short work of this order. So I'm going to go ahead and load the Bolt Pro 22. I want to make sure that that red light is right on that mark, and I'm just going to snug this up just a little bit, and I am good to go. Once I have this tumbler loaded and it's ready to go, and I want to just verify that my setup's right and I'm not going to have a head crash, here's a tip for you. If I just pull this laser head over to the left, get it clearly out of the way, and reset the origin, and then frame it, this way I can verify that it looks right. I know that that handle is not going to come smack the laser head. It's just a sanity check, and that way this laser head has no possibility of getting hit in case you set this up wrong. So just pull that laser head away from your tumbler, reset the origin, hit frame. It's going to do its thing. You're going to be good to go, and you know for a fact now I can come back and reestablish my origin and frame it within place, and we know that we're not going to have any kind of a problem. Now I'm going to do the same when it comes to this roller rotary. I've got my tumbler marked, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and feed this in, set it down. I want to make sure that I rotate my tumbler to make sure that that pencil mark on my tumbler lines up with my red light, and I'm ready to go there. Again, if I wanted to go ahead and verify my setup, I could pull the laser head to the left or to the right, reestablish my origin, frame it, make sure that it looks like it's going to be okay, reestablish my origin right here, and this one's ready to go. Okay, so a quick look. We've got both of these going now. So I framed them up, make sure everything was all good to go. I've got these bypassed just so I could lift the lids to show you guys. So I have a pair of safety glasses on. So just remember, be very careful if you're operating your laser with the cover up. I don't recommend that you do that. Here we got the orange one going on. And remember that these different colored tumblers will take slightly different powers. The orange can be tough. The white will take more power. Lighter colors typically take more power. So now that we've got these going, next I'll show you kind of how I clean them up and how I process them. And just an overall look. Both machines going at the same time. As you can see, the one on the left is quite a bit faster than the one on the right, but they both do a great job. So now that one's done, I bring another one with me. All I'm going to do is take this one out, slide this one out. Be very careful when you're doing this. You don't want to bump your rotary. Typically I have mine pinned down pretty well. I'm going to come over here, make sure again that red light is lined up with that mark, take it out, hit start, and I'm ready to go. Now this has a 10-second delay built into it because I want to make sure that the fan's ramped up before it starts to engrave. So this one's done. I'm going to reach in, pull this out. You can see this is done. I'm going to set it down, bring the other one that's marked, set it in the rotary. Make sure my red light is marked right where that mark is. Pull it out and turn her loose. Okay, so let's show you how to clean one up right quick. So we've got this orange. I'm going to use the LA Awesome for the orange. I'm going to just do a little bit of spritz, small amount of spritz. You don't need a lot. Take a magic eraser, give it a quick swirl. It should clean up nice and easy. You shouldn't have to scrub hard on this in any way. I'm going to take that microfiber cloth I was showing you. I'm going to make sure I get the pencil mark off. Give this a nice wipe down. You want to make sure, keep your fingers out of the inside of your tumbler There's no reason to put fingerprints in there. And you can see how nice that turns out. Let's take a look at the blue one. So on the navy blue, you can see this blue hue here. I'm going to take a little bit of Endura blue, just a quick spritz. Take the magic eraser, give it a quick scrub, make sure you get the pencil lead mark off of there. And there you go. And that's how quick and easy it is to clean these up. Okay, let's talk a little bit about when we're packaging these things up. What I like to do is I make sure that these lids are clean, that they don't have a bunch of dust on them, that kind of stuff. And then what I like to do is I like to take the mouthpiece and put it on the side that's not engraved. So if I have this in my right hand, the logo is facing outward, I'm going to put the mouthpiece, or where you drink from, on the opposite side, and then we'll go ahead and make sure that it's nice and clean. We'll put it in our wrapper, and then the last piece, the last touch, is you want to make sure that your engraved logo that you have is facing out. So when I put this back, when I take this out of the box, you can see the logo. So it's just those last little minute things that make a difference to your clients when they're all done. Well, as you can see, there's quite a bit that goes into a tumbler order like this, but if you think about it and lay it out up front and be organized, you'll be amazed on how smoothly it'll go for you. I hope this information was helpful. If you like the content, I'd sure appreciate a thumbs up. Remember, liking these videos pushes the algorithm and more people get to see content like this. So anytime you can, give me a like. I really appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. We're up over 32,000 subscribers now. I love that, and I really appreciate all the support. If you have the ability, hit that thanks button and contribute to the channel. It's those contributions that make this content possible. Until next time, thanks and have a great day.